Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and NBs of all ages, welcome back to episode 2 of Brian's Mind Palace. Dave! Hi, Dave!
Hi, Brian.
Hi. Welcome to my mind. Do you like it?
It's very vague.
Isn't it? I've recently remodeled.
I gotta admit, I like the new furniture and the paint job. So
You know what? Therapy is a great thing. Always recommend it. Now, Dave, I will ask you many, many questions, in all of which you can give me whatever answer you wish. Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Yep.
So, you know what Dungeons and Dragons is. For those who do not know, Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game where you roll dice and you fight monsters, but more importantly, you tell a story, and that's what we're gonna try to do.
We don't even know what the story is, put it that way.
Exactly! By which we are going to use the medium of rolling a dice. Dave has employed the wonderful services of some form
Google
of...
roll dice roller. There you go.
We're very high end. We're very high budget. All hail Google. So, by which we are telling a story. Of whom are we telling a story about today?
We are telling the story of a mid-30s man, Michael Taggart, who is a slaughterhouse floor manager in Lincoln, Nebraska, just on the outskirts of town, on the outskirts of Lincoln, Nebraska, very small town, only a couple of hundred people. And he's never been outside of this tiny little town. And he's at a leaving night in the local bar, and he's a whiskey man, obviously. Being from the Midwest, he's a whiskey man. And he decides to go hell for leather on some fine Kentucky bourbon. And when he wakes up, he can't remember anything, but he's on the tarmac at Singapore International Airport with Delta Airlines crew kind of standing around him, just managing to wake him up.
Okay.
Now, this guy has no wallet, nothing. The only thing he has is ID. Otherwise, there's no way he's getting on the plane. He's got his passport with him.
Michael Taggart, a slaughterhouse proprietor, owner, operator, staff
Floor
member? Floor manager of a slaughterhouse, and he is now on a runway, currently in an aeroplane, possibly not of full sound mind and body. So, Michael Taggart being roused from his sleep. Dave, can you make the first intensity roll for us? For those who don't know, we'll be rolling a d20 dice, and the level and number on the dice is going to tell us exactly the intensity of the situation that Michael is in. And you have rolled
I have rolled a 3, Mr. Brian.
Michael Taggart has had many booze-filled nights and many booze awakenings in the morning. This is standard fare for Michael. He wakes up, there's people around him, and he accepts the situation. How would Michael react here?
You want me to voice, or you want me to explain the situation?
It is whatever if you want to voice, you voice. If you want to narrate, you narrate. Entirely where the mood takes you. This is your story.
So Michael wakes up on this completely empty Boeing 787, surrounded by 3 Delta Airlines flight attendants who have been trying to wake him for the past half an hour. Michael wakes up in shock, taken aback of where the hell he is, and he asks one of the crew members, what in the hell is going on? Where in the hell am I, and what the hell happened last night?
Sir, you are in Singapore.
Where's that?
Well,
singy. What?
okay.
Where the hell am I?
Can you make an
Why,
intensity? Can you
why
make
am I on an airplane?
can you make an intensity roll for me? Two. The captain walks down the plane, quite quite relaxed, quite assured. Michael's being generally quite okay. He's taken a while to get out of the plane, but he reassures Michael that where he is exactly on the world map, and does does he know where he will be going to from here?
You want me to tell? Oh my God. I need some Tylenol. Y'all got any Tylenol? My head is pan. I'm in a seat. That's as far as my knowledge goes. Why in the hell am I on an aircraft?
Okay. The the staff look to usher Michael out of the plane and to a lounge where he can assess the situation, get a Tylenol, maybe some water. Um, would Michael go willingly?
Let's find out.
I will ask then for if to say he will not go. What have you rolled?
A 17.
A 17. Michael is being told what to do. This is a man who drinks whiskey and does a bit of
He's a
slaughtering.
he's a pretty
So,
broad, typical
yeah,
American man.
he's now being
Uh,
told what to do.
so Michael, in response to the captain asking him to please leave the aircraft, he states in a very groggy and hungover manner that he wishes to remain on the plane and just take me back to where I came from, please. Because clearly I'm not supposed to be here, he
Cool.
says to the captain.
Okay, given the level of intensity, the captain will respond thusly. Sir, you must vacate the plane immediately, and we will be able to assist you. But you need to go, and you need to go now. And he reaches his arm out to take Michael from the chair forcefully.
Am I rolling?
You can roll if you don't feel a natural reaction.
So
It's up to you. It's up.
Michael slaps his hand away,
Okay.
but says, all right, I'll leave on my own. I can use my own goddamn legs. Steps up.
Can you give me a success roll on
Oh,
Michael
God.
stepping up?
His legs
If
don't work
if
like they used to before.
if you roll above a 10, you will be successful. If you roll below a 10, you will fail.
It's a 3.
Michael falls flat on his face. Not only does he fall flat, but as he was standing up, he tried to lean over and grab, and in the motion of grabbing, missed the seat in front of him and has now punched the captain in the face. The captain, reeling back, goes, "Police, police, get the police, get them, get this fucking asshole out of here." All attendants go to reach down and restrain and lift Michael up. What would he do?
He wouldn't be able to do anything else but to comply because he's clearly went flat on his face. He's gonna be very, very dazed.
Okay. Okay. So Michael is now being dragged willingly. I would always, for everyone listening and watching, please always go kicking and screaming. Far more interesting. But as a personal choice, but for a storytelling beat now, Michael has been dragged from an aeroplane in a place on the planet he did not intend to go to and is now sitting in a cell in a Singapore airport. Can you roll an intensity check for how Michael is feeling in this
14.
moment? So, would you say Michael is either invigorated and thrilled by this or worried?
Worried. He doesn't know it. He still doesn't know the name of the country he's in. It's too many syllables.
It's dry heat, a type of weather he's not really used to. He's sweating buckets. He's had a few drinks and he is probably concussed. And a door opens and a man walks in, a stone faced Singaporean man that looks to be in official airport uniform. He sits down, looks at Michael, and waits. What would Michael do?
So Michael would, in typical fashion, turn to him and say, I take it you're here to do my rectal exam.
And you roll intensity for the airport staff member's
19.
reaction.
19.
He crunches on the table, bangs on the table, and quite frankly, in a manner in which I cannot respectfully repeat, curses him the fuck out in a language that Michael has never, ever heard, but in this moment, fully understands. The door opens again, and two bigger, burlier members of staff walk in, none of which are holding rubber gloves, but they are holding what look to be what you would be very used to seeing, cattle prods. What and how would Michael react to
Well,
this?
damn. You got better prods than I do. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Hold up. I apologize for what I said because I do not want to be rectally examined by those two gentlemen over here. Now, I'm going to ask you this one question. And let me tell you, I don't know where I am. I don't know how the fuck I got here. But I want you to tell me how the hell I get out of this shithole.
Um, can you roll a success or failure check for me?
15.
Very successful and very convincing. They know who you are, or at least they think they know who you are. The first man places documentation on a table, opens a folder, and pushes the papers towards you. And you see a man that, quite frankly, looks exactly like you, except he is a wanted man. You see what can you can only look at through your bleary-eyed, slightly concussed, and still not fully sober condition. And you see what looks to be yourself of a man who has a different name to you, only name that you can see on a fully redacted document is the words sweet tooth. How would Michael respond to seeing what looks to be himself as a wanted man in a country he never intended to go to?
Well, y'all must be fooled because that ain't me. I've got my passport right here. Slaps it on the table, slides it across to the man in charge with a slightly mischievous grin, and tells him to look at the passport because that is not Michael, according to Michael himself.
Can you roll a success or a failure? Roll for me, please.
14.
Very successful. They know that he is exactly who he is. They know you are exactly who you are. Can you roll an intensity check to see how these guys deal with fact?
2.
Now, speaking in a parlance you fully understand, The first gentleman just says, "We know who you are. This is why you're here. This man has been causing chaos in our city, and you," he holds up the two pieces of paper, "have a striking resemblance to him. You want to be able to get out of this situation. This is how you do it. We want you to wear this wire and find this man, and we want you to make him tell us what his name is. Once you have that recording, and once we have confirmation, you will then be able to go home." How would Michael deal with that? You may roll for intensity, or you can tell me directly. It's entirely what you're feeling.
Now, hold on. Hold on. I am extremely hungover. I'm talking, my head is very sore. And with all due respect, gentlemen, that ain't me. This is me. You want me to pretend to be this motherfucker right here? That ain't happening. You want me to
Uh,
wear a wire? That ain't happening.
can you roll an intensity check for me?
18.
The two burly men take a step closer and flash the cattle prods.
Hmm. Oh, you think that's supposed to scare me? You think I've not been prodded before by multiples on a happy Friday night when we have a lock in at my slaughterhouse and we start getting funny with some cattle prods? Boy, these two motherfuckers don't scare me. Let me tell you something, big man. That ain't me. I ain't playing your game. So you better let me the hell out of here before I call the embassy, 'cause I ain't taking this shit no more.
The first man flicks through the documentation, and you see official United States Embassy logo. And then he produces his own identification, of which you find that he is, in fact, working directly with the emissary of the United States, of which he is employed.
No. Oh, so this has been some CIA shit from the get go. I should have known you. I should have known you fuckers responsible for this. You're always doing this shit. Can't even do it in your backyard. Doing it in some fucking wing wild fucking country in Asia. I ain't following your orders. Send me the fuck home.
The two burly men step closer. If they step closer again, they will be within prodding range.
You tell me this is the only way I'm gonna get out of here.
The gentleman takes up the documentation, gives you a knowing smile, reaches into his breast pocket, slides a sachet of what you can only determine is a very potent painkiller, and he clicks his fingers on one of the bigger of the burly men, produces a bottle of water, places it on the table beside the man, and he moves it towards you.
What the fuck's this?
You said you had a headache and you needed a Tylenol. This is most definitely more effective than a Tylenol. So if you're telling me you're willing to help out your country with a matter of national security,
Mm.
that is something that we can arrange, that you can do this job to the absolute best of your ability.
What about you two? You like what you do? You happy in your work? Hmm? Coming in here with cattle prods and you looking like fucking Vincent D'Onofrio and Daredevil? Hmm? Assholes. All right, fine. Fine, fine, fucking fine. Give me the goddamn painkiller.
Can you roll an intensity check for me?
It's a 5. It's a 5. Cinco.
Michael is a man of a small town, a connected man, a known man, a man who has experienced many hangovers, taken many painkillers. This is like anything he has never experienced before. Never has he taken any type of substance that has instantly been effective. The air seems cooler. His breathing is looser. His headache is gone. He is better than he has ever been and feeling ready to achieve his goal. Where on Michael's body would he elect to have a wire?
Crotch. Ain't no one going down there.
Excellent choice. The two burly cattle prod toting men fold the cattle prods away and ask, on top or inside?
What you talking about inside? The fuck are you talking about? On top. Nobody going anywhere near in there. Stuff's supposed to come out, not go back fucking in.
Would Michael attach the apparatus himself, or would he prefer a professional to do
He would attach it to himself. He's not trusting these motherfuckers.
it? What only looks to be like kind of like like blue tack, but like see-through blue tack, and he's able just to attach and it he's and maneuver and place in an area that he finds most comfortable, which I can pretty much
Good thing I
guarantee.
shaved this morning.
Yeah. uh, happenstance and karma dictating that this will be attached in a manner that I will ask that the efficiency be dictated by a roll of the dice.
No pun
No,
intended. 6.
it's sticking, but it ain't gonna stick for long. That's something to note for later.
Okay.
So, Michael has been mic'd and he is ushered out of the room, given fresh clothes, and presented with two options. He can either choose to drive to the predetermined location himself, of which he doesn't know where he is. He could be given a GPS and follow instructions based on the device, or he can be driven there by the Burleys. What would Michael elect to do?
He would elect to be driven because he can't drive a stick.
If Michael was presented an option to have any type of arms or any self defense tools, what do you think he would choose to have on his person?
Machete.
Okay. Um,
He's
given
in a
the
slaughterhouse. He's used to knives. Yeah, that's his
given
craft.
given the given given the reach of this unknown government agency, um, they fit him out with a plethora of pointy, sharp
Yay.
regalia. Some of long blade and some of short blade, some with forked head and some with just an unfathomable quality in craftsmanship.
In which Michael responds, "Wow. Can y'all get me the catalog for this when I get home? I want to get some of this from Slaughterhouse. This stuff's better than what we got. Fuck hell, man. Look at
Uh,
this."
uh, at which is Michael a gentleman who carries a mobile device with him? Phone?
He doesn't have one because the only thing he came with is his passport, and I forgot to mention a tiny sticky note on that passport that said "Enjoy" with two exclamation points.
Fantastic. You'll note that the handwriting on the passport looked eerily similar to that of a signature of the first agent you met. So Michael has been elected to be driven through the streets of this unknown city. Would he go directly to where he is supposed to go, or would he choose to see the sights?
Given he looks exactly like someone who's wanted, feared, and been terrorizing the city, he's going to elect to go directly there. He sees any sights, people are going to start reporting shit, and then there's going to be trouble for whatever this American organization is because he's just going to get stopped everywhere. People are going to start reporting shit. He's going to go directly to the case in point because the sooner he can get out of this country, the better. As soon as he can get back to his small town living.
The Can you roll an intensity check to see how the journey is for Michael?
15!
15. Heart racing, hot weather. He's feeling comfortable. He's feeling light. There's something in that sauce that they gave him that's keeping him both simultaneously relaxed and focused. He's not feeling the heat, but he's feeling the pressure. But something that he doesn't feel like he is entirely unskilled to deal with. He's loaded up with various accoutrements that he feels very comfortable wielding. They drive away from the airport. Can you roll a success or failure roll to determine something that will
20.
happen? Fantastic. The radio is turned on, and he hears, I got friends in low places. Gareth Brooks playing on local radio in Singapore, settling Michael, honing him, giving him a taste of home and hopefully the freedom he will soon feel. Driving through and away from the airport and the streets, arise this unknown, strange, beautiful city, color and vibrancy. Closer and closer they get to the city, the tighter the roads become, the more gridlock it becomes, but settled in with where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. He's gonna be okay. Can you roll a success or failure for me?
2.
They're 100%. 102% gridlocked. They're not going anywhere. They look at each other. They look back. 'Cause I got friends in low places. And they point at a building. There's a sea of, it looks like shops and stalls and busy, hybrid environment of trade and bustling and hustling. And they point to a building that has a blue flag. They point. What would Michael
He would respond, "Yeah, that's a building. Congratulations. You have at least one brain cell. Why are you pointing? You got it. Come on, boy. You got a voice. Speak up. Don't be nervous.
do? How are your
Use your
legs feel?
words."
How are your legs feeling?
Hmm?
How are your legs feeling?
Pretty damn good.
Great, you're gonna have to use them. Get out of the fucking car and go to that building. He's in there.
And Michael huffs, opens the door, gets out of the car, and just focuses his eyes as the crow flies on that building because he has no intention of going anywhere else.
Walking through the streets. Can you, as you get closer and closer, can you roll an intensity check for me?
12.
Busy. He knows exactly where he needs to go, but not a fucking clue what's gonna be there when he gets there. He's not panicking, but he's not relaxed either. He gets up to the building, looks up at the flag. Sees two hatchets, very similar to that he would use to carve and hack and prepare meat. He hears the sound of clinking glasses, laughter, joviality. He's standing at the door of this establishment. What would Michael do?
So Michael would attempt to discover what he can about his surroundings. So he hears the clinking of glasses, jovial, he sees the two things. So he's thinking steakhouse. He's thinking, all right, this could be a place where I could settle in a bit, find out a little bit more about where the hell he is, why they've sent him here, and just generally keep his wits about him and find out as much as he can. He'll approach the door. Obviously, there'll be a doorman. Seems like a fancy establishment.
Can you roll a? Would he say anything, do anything, or is he just gonna try and walk in? How does he act in this moment?
Fairly calm, typical tourist attitude. Approaches the door and awaits if the doorman just opens the door or if the doorman stops and asks him any questions or anything at all.
Cool. Roll the dice. Let's find out.
18.
18. Yes, he looks at you like kind of looks back and looks at you and kind of shakes it off and like hurriedly opens the door. Thank you, sir.
Michael nods, gives him a cheeky grin, walks through the door.
Beyond anything Michael has ever known, small town,
Yep.
cutting up some fucking cows. He knows a good fucking steakhouse when he sees it. So he's walked in cleanly. He's walked past the doorman. Who the fuck has a doorman standing outside a fucking establishment like that? But he sees a maitre d' standing, looking kind of bewildered, very much like the look that was just given by the doorman. Sir, we have your table ready.
Good.
Gestures, gestures, and he sees a just an upper balcony overlooking everything. This is of the bright and vibrant sun bleached exterior. Interior is deep, varnished mahogany, soft light, and soft piano. This is a place that just doesn't seem to belong. Pretty fucking apt because neither does Michael. But
So,
in this place, he's been treated like someone who absolutely should be there. He's been gestured up to the balcony, of which you can see a fairly cornered off and curtained off staircase, but he knows what way to go. Would he choose to go up? Would he walk around? What
so
would he choose to do?
Michael's getting the feeling. He's no idiot. He's getting the feeling that due to looking like this certain person, that he is going to play the role. And as the maitre d' points to the stairwell and he looks up and he sees the balcony, he looks at the maitre d' and he says, I want your finest Kentucky bourbon, your best ribeye, or should I say my best ribeye, on that table in 10 minutes. And if it ain't there, you better go find another job. And he proceeds towards the curtained off stairwell.
Yeah. Hurriedly, as he walks up past his purple velvet curtain, and he sees, right before he turns left to go up the stairs, he sees the same insignia crossed patches. And he hears behind him hurried, Boss is here, boss is here, come on, come on. What the fuck? Come on, come on. Bourbon, bourbon, everything, bourbon, yeah, go, go. He has caused chaos behind him. Unassured, panicked, almost like he arrived too early. But you go up. You go up. You're standing at the insignia, hearing chaos behind you, and you're going up to the seat. Are
As he,
you?
oh, sorry,
Yeah.
go on.
No, no, fine.
As he progresses up the stairs, he's looking out for any side alleys, any doorways, any curtains with slits that he notices that would be maybe offices of an administration nature. He's trying to find out what this place is, what its purpose is, and to find out initially the name of this person because he knows it ain't Sweet Tooth.
Yeah. Roll a success check for me.
16.
He walks up and gets to the balcony, of which there is only one exit, one entrance that he's just walked to. The table is up against the balcony, overlooking everything. But beyond and behind, there's a door that he instinctively would recognize of, okay, well, this is this guy's place. That's his fucking room. So what would you do?
He would approach the door
Mm-hmm.
and check to see if it'll open because it could be keyed, it could be coded, it could be locked down to fuck.
He, it is a circular knob. Great word. It's a circular knobbed handle. And Michael places his hand on it and he just hears beep beep. Access granted. The handle itself turns on its own and the door opens automatically.
Okay. So that's clearly a knob with some fingerprint scanners in it, much like my own. And he is going to let that door open, but at the same time, Michael steps back a little and doesn't understand why the access was granted if this is for someone else when his fingerprints were clearly recognized, unless they have hacked into the system. But he doesn't know that shit. He doesn't know any of that. His mind is 1,000 questions a second as this door opens, and he will pass through the doorway and just get a general look at what faces him first.
Can you make an intensity check for me, please?
Yep, 13.
Stafford hurrying around downstairs. He has maybe about 9 minutes odd to really have a look around here before they wonder why he's not at the table. Whether that's what Sweet Tooth would normally do, you don't know, but you're hurried. It is a it's not lit. There's no automatic lighting. You're in a darkened room in an unknown place, and you have yet to really find any type of assurance of what the fuck is happening. But you're on point. You're where you should be. You're on mission, and you're on point. Would Michael go further into the room, try find a light switch, or would he?
So Michael takes a few different routes to find out if there's a lighting system. First of all, he says lights on, as if to think maybe there's some sort of futuristic voice recognition in this fucking spaceship of a country.
Instantly, lights turn on, and a autonomous voice above him goes, "Welcome, sweet tooth. This is a similar
Hmm.
to the restaurant. Very dark mahogany bookcases, leather bound, steers on the wall, bulls on the wall, and a very prominent office desk with papers, seemingly business documentation. This is someone's office. This is where the guy does his work, whatever the fuck work he actually does. You are in, no alarms have gone off, and you have 7 minutes of what you can estimate of what you gave the maitre d.
Is there any screens in the room on the walls or anything that I can see?
Roll for success.
6.
You can see nothing definitely obvious. You would have to
Okay.
actually actively seek it out, cause a little bit
Okay.
more commotion, and go fumbling around to do so.
Okay. So he checks the walls, checks the picture frames, checks anything around the walls that might be there to see if there's a screen, anything that he can access or turn on or
Nothing instantly turning on, nothing that he could physically do. He did turn the lights on with his voice.
so in this case, Michael will say the word show itinerary.
On the desk, you see a panel flip open, and what looks to be like an embedded, kind of smaller, kind of iPad
Sure.
just flicks open, and you see a light appear. To get to that and read it properly, you will have to walk around and stand behind the desk, or will you try to read it from the other side,
He's
upside
going to
down?
walk around and try and read it, try and look at it properly. So he wants to get an idea of how long he really has until the staff start getting confused when actual Sweet Tooth walks in the door.
It was an early morning flight. You arrived at the restaurant at around 9:45, and you can see that about, it looks to be, it's blocked out, you can't really see it. It's from 10 to 11. You have arrival marked. There's nothing else planned for the day. You just know that from 10 to 11 someone's arriving, and it was 9:45 when you arrived, and you gave them 10 minutes to get ready. You have spent 3 or 4 of those minutes looking around. So the 10 minutes that you gave them to get ready is going to line up pretty certainly to somebody else arriving. So
Okay.
they're not too thrown out. They're unsure, but that's what they're not sure. But they know you're kind of expected there. You were expected to be there, but not exactly on time. So that threw them
So
off.
what he would do in this case would rummage across the desk in drawers for 2 minutes, checking for any sort of name of this place, any sort of ID, what the place does, who he is, or any of his business dealings, trying to gather evidence for these whoever these American agents are, because he knows the more he can get, the closer he gets to going home.
The You can see on the various documentation, it looks like invoices and there's various kind of stationary heads, and all you see are just the cross hatchets. And you can rummage. You've rummaged around. You're fully like committed to looking through the documentation, and you can see like bank details and everything like that. And further, the more you dig and the more time you spend, you do just simply see the words cross hatchets. Do you look any further to try and find anything else? Where does that
Yeah,
set? Yeah, you go again.
I lose all track of time at this point because he's now starting to get invested in what the hell is this, because he is a small town floor manager of a slaughterhouse in the business of, meat produce and everything else. He's come to this godforsaken country, looked at all of this stuff, and now he's finding out that whoever this is almost certainly in the same line of business. He wants to know more. So time goes out the window because he's too distracted by the
Can you
coincidences in front of him.
can you roll an intensity check for me?
11.
The door's been left open. Your head head down behind the desk, looking outward, rummaging through documentation, and you just hear a faint knock on the door. Uh, Sir, your your meal is ready.
Michael looks up from the table, clocks that it's the nervy maitre d', and he says, "Okay, I'll be there in 1 minute flat. Close the door. Keep it shut. Don't let anyone else in."
The maitre d' stands back, really unsure, and just kind of taps at the wall, and the panel flicks over, and he hits a couple of buttons, and the door closes. Michael's in the room alone. His steak is getting cold, and his whiskey's getting warm. What would you choose to do in the room now?
The only person that can get in here is this other me, technically. So if I'm in this room on my own, and the only other person is this person I'm supposed to bring to these agents, that's one scenario. However, whatever he's taken, this so-called painkiller, has cleared his mind so much to the point where he's going to leave the room and sit down at the table for this steak. Less than a minute, so not on the time that the maitre d' said. He is going to leave the room, sit down at the table, and start to enjoy his steak and his whiskey, because he has hatched a plan, no pun intended, in his mind that will become clearer if a certain situation would arise.
Can you make a roll for me to determine the situation?
16.
Correct. You walk out of the room. You've not garnered any extra information. You just waited enough time to dictate and allow people to settle around you. You've controlled the situation. People are happy to appease you, and you do exactly as you say. You walk out. You sit down. Steaks ready. All manner of sides and sauces and gravies and everything that you ever want to see when you're in a steakhouse is right there ready for you. And you see on the what would Michael pick up first? What would he choose to grab first
The
on the
whiskey.
table? Whiskey? On the whiskey, he sees, it looks like it. like a personalized glass. Like it's not the same letters. It's not CH. It's not cross hatchet. He just sees two letters that he finds very, very familiar. His name is Michael Taggart, and he sees the letters MT on the whiskey glass he's currently drinking.
Okay.
Maitre d's waiting there, ready just to be either let go or any more or anything else. He's ready to serve in any manner he wishes.
So he looks at the glass and looks up at the maitre d and just says, "That'll be all, and you can go now."
Maitre look relieved, kind of just goes downstairs, gets to the end of the staircase, and can you roll an intensity check for me?
See, I'm setting you up. I'm setting you up, and I'm hoping you're going to take the bait. 19.
Doors almost seemingly burst open, and seeing from your vantage point, you recognize what you can only determine is your goddamn self walking into this room, and you hear a lot of hooping and hollering. I better goddamn have my steak ready. The fuck are you doing out of your post? He barges past the maitre d', and you hear stomping up the stairs. And what would Michael choose to do?
So,
And can you roll for me? We will anything over a 10 will mean you three. Over a 10 means you are facing with your back to the door. You have three. You are looking at whom is coming towards you.
okay,
He
that's fine.
walks straight up, looks you dead in the eye, and goes, "Son of a bitch, if it ain't the most handsomest man I ever done see."
So, in that situation, Michael will take a bite of a steak, and he looks up, and he sees this man. He swallows, and he just points across the table and says, "Take a seat."
Can you make an intensity check for me?
Mm-hmm. 15.
Oh, I'll take a seat. I don't take a seat. I own these seats. And from behind him, the maitre d' appears, brings the chair back, sits, sweet tooth, we think, down. And then, quite suddenly and without any effort, another steak and another whiskey are produced. And he looks up and he looks at you. Would you like to do the honors or will I?
So I look at him, I pick up my glass, and I say, "I don't see the letters ST on this glass. So clearly you own the seat you're in. But see, this is my seat right here. This is my glass. It's my steak. Why don't you get on eating?"
You make an intensity check for me, please.
Mm-hmm. 12.
Oh yeah, that's your seat that you're offered. No, 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 taken. No, you took that seat. You took it well, and you sit in it mighty fine. So, Michael, what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, see, I was enjoying a fine Kentucky bourbon in my hometown, and I was sipping away, and I'll tell you something, I was enjoying it a little too much, shall we say. I woke up this morning and I was presented in a very strange situation. See, I woke up on a damn airplane, and I was taken to a cell. Now, someone who looks just like me, in the same business as me, eats the same steak, drinks the same whiskey. There's only so many coincidences till you start thinking there's something ain't right. So these so-called agents, that's right, I'm telling you all this information. I'm putting my life on the line here because something tells me you can get me out of this country a lot quicker than them assholes back at that jail cell can. So tell me something. I'm not going to address you by your code name. You tell me your real name there, boy. Look like me, walk like me, talk like me. You damn sure ain't me. Tell me that name of yours so we can get past this situation we're in.
And you make a successful check for me?
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for something above a 10.
You're not going to get it, too.
Oh, so that's what this game is. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry to say, Michael, you ain't the first, and unfortunately, you won't be the last. See, I have what you would call a non-diploma. I don't have any. I don't even have, and he just ever so slightly flexes his fingers, and you can see like almost like a light emanating from it. He reaches to touch his face, and it shimmers. I don't even have a real face. Well, not this one anyway. The greatest thing about technology is it's always advancing. The greatest thing about my technology is everybody wants a piece. And I am sorry to say that yours was the face that I found. Mighty fine face, I will say, you rugged son of a gun. Now, you don't want my name. The only people who ask my name are the people who don't know my name. I go by the name Sweet Tooth because I do have one thing that is mine. And he smiles, snarl. It's not gold, it's not silver, it's no known metal that you can see, but there's definitely a tooth there that ain't no tooth. Seemingly seems to be where the technology is emanating from. He seems to have some type of cyber implant that we could call. It seems to be generating a visage that looks exactly like you. Now, you say you want to go home. But I want to tell you now that home is where the heart is, and your heart's right there in front of me. So, unless we want to be taking that heart out and examining it directly, I would say you have a choice to make. You can choose to try to push me, or I can choose to make sure that you've had the life that you've always wanted. But I can tell you damn sure it ain't gonna be back in Nebraska.
So you're telling me with your little Elon Musk fucking iPad in your face, you think you're gonna tell me exactly what I'm gonna do? Oh boy, you ain't got no fucking clue what you're sitting across from. Let me tell you something. You want to present me with your two options a little more clearly? Because I don't give a fuck for your little shiny tooth, your Elon fucking Musk attitude, and I don't give a fuck about this place. I'll burn it to the ground. Don't mean nothing to me. I'm going home. Whether it's with you in the back of a fucking van being carted off to those two chodes in the fucking jail, or you are going to escort me on whatever fucking private Tesla model shit plane that you got parked at that airport. And my preferred option would really be the second one because I don't want to start no trouble in this fine establishment that you created for yourself. You stole my identity, son. So I believe you owe me an opportunity since I presented you unknowingly with your opportunity.
Always read the terms and conditions, boy. Everybody scrolls down past them, don't they? Oh, I don't agree to those terms and conditions. You willingly gave your identity away years ago, but that's fine. Little lesson for you to keep it real nice. Now, this ain't no technology. This is what I am. So I'm gonna say that. Say no more. You don't want sass one more time. So you might be good, but I'm everything you are plus more. So are you willing to take up my offer in the terms I dictate, or are we gonna have to flip this table and have ourselves a good old time?
Hmm. Hmm. Choices, choices, my friend. Hmm. There ain't no wrong choice. There ain't no bad choice neither. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love to flip the table over here, and I'd love to carve that face off and tinker around and see what's inside that cyborg robo cop looking fucking head of yours. But I also want to get back to my damn life. So why don't you explain those terms and conditions to me, son? Tell me what your offer is.
Can you make an intensity check for me?
One.
Cold. Just cold. I'm gonna give you the only offer I ever give anybody who's stupid enough to try and tell me what the fuck I should do. I'll tell you one time. You can have whatever you want, except the one thing you've asked for. So you use that big old brain of yours, and I know it might be a little bit sore right now, but I'm telling you something. You can have whatever you want, anything you want. Call me the genie, because I'm going to grant you your deepest desires. And I'm telling you, it can be whatever you want, except that one thing. You can have every single color as long as it's black.
Damn. So you tell me I can't have Shania Twain in the back of my van? Fuck me.
Mm.
That wish is out the window. What the hell is the point, huh? I'll tell
Oh,
you what. What you don't know is as I sit here right now, this whole conversation's being recorded.
can you make a success roll for me?
Wendy, motherfucker.
With you just hear very faint windows crashing and bodies hitting the floor, staff members incapacitated. This building is fully in control of whatever the fuck agency has employed you, coerced you, blackmailed you into doing this. You are in a safe space with a fucking strange man. You hold all the cards.
Hmm. So I'm gonna tell you this one time. Clearly, I'm in a lot more control than you realize. Because I don't have to do a damn thing. I don't even have to leave my chair. I can enjoy my steak and whiskey while hell erupts around here. They know who you are. They now know where you're sitting. They now know what's in your intestines, what you have for lunch. Because you see, a lot of people look at this big, dumbass redneck from Nebraska and think he ain't got two brain cells to rub together to make a third. But that's what happens when you play the role, huh? Get people believing in the wrong thing. So your move, Elon, what you gonna do? Hmm?
Same hand reaches up, glows, shimmers, face completely goes fully blank. No eyes, no nose, no mouth, just a blank canvas.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, this, this is me. I am everything that, what did you call him? An Elon. Yeah, we know Elon. Elon thinks that he's developing technology. Elon thinks that he is in power. We are exactly what happens when you reach too far. Not you, your race, your species, the mistake of humans. I am exactly what happens when your technology becomes something that you cannot control. The dirty secret is my name doesn't exist. You were used as a tool. Unfortunately, there is nothing that you can do to get me to say anything apart from agreeing to the terms and conditions that I lay in front of you. If you do not accept them, we're just going to have to find out exactly how good you are with those knives.
Mhm. See, I'm starting to think I've been presented with a very unique opportunity right in front of me. You say you're everything, correct? You're what happens when our technology evolves beyond itself. Hmm? I come at you with these knives, you're going to use your little artificial intelligence brain to track my movements, block everything I do. It's pointless, right? There ain't no fighting something that knows what you're going to do, so let me just think about it. You see, one thing that artificial intelligence can't predict is sleight of hand, my friend. So, as of right now, tell me, you got that Google in that brain of yours? You can look up and tell me what an electromagnetic pulse is, please. Can you just explain to me the implications of what that would have on a fancy electronic brain like yours?
Like I said, this is what happens when your technology evolves past your own comprehension. I'm not electric. So, but we can definitely find out. No?
So you can tell me what it is, or are you just afraid to?
Roll so for success.
17!
I'm unable to comprehend what doesn't exist. You've been scanned. You know exactly what's happening. And you've now chosen to refuse my offer?
So where I'm from, we don't listen to computers. We do everything manually, by hand, in our own time. See, there's an art to it. You don't just go into a factory and program a machine to do everything for you. That's called mass production. We don't do that where I'm from. No, 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 no. There's an art to what we do. So I'm going to say, fuck your offer. Whatever the hell you are, 'cause you damn sure ain't a person. And you can bring whatever the hell it is you want, because I tell you one thing, you ain't leaving this place with your power turned on.
Can you make an intensity check for me?
9.
Reaching up again, the shimmer and glow of the hand. Your own visage returns. Like, okay. Well, I really did want to flip that table. But I suppose suppose I'm just gonna have to be a gentleman and walk. He goes to turn. He walks. He's stood up, stepped away from the table, turned his back to you, and is attempting to walk away. What would you do?
I take out the smartphone, which was in my pocket. I hold it up and say, I'm sure you've heard enough. You want your, well, it ain't a man, whatever the fuck it is. If you want it, you go and get it and send me the fuck home. I've given you what you want. Now you're going to give me what I want.
Sweet Tooth keeps walking, goes down the stairs, and goes to open the door, opens it, and you just hear from downstairs in your own voice, "Ah, hell no!" Closes the door, comes barreling up the stairs. Computer, exit protocol, exit protocol. Door opens in the office. The table in the office shoots into the floor, seemingly another staircase there. He is sprinting towards the staircase. You've heard nothing from anybody. No contact, no earpiece, no command. Your only way of going home is sprinting out, seemingly a secret exit that the people who thought they had the building locked down didn't know about. He's going.
Okay. So, as he's sprinting past me, I'm staying in my seat. I'm sipping on the whiskey. And as he's
Yeah.
running past, I take one of my bladed items, be it, I'm going to say the machete that I was requested. I'm going to swing it across. And as he's running away, I'm going to hack away what feet he was running with from the ankle down. Just a
Make
clean swipe to my right.
make a success roll for me, please.
11.
You strike without cleaving anything off. He stumbles and rolls, slides into the room, but does not make it to the stairs. Gets up, visage crackles a bit,
Mhm.
and he looks. Oh, so that's how it gonna be. Reaches in,
Mhm.
takes out his own machete, and he goes, "Okay, we're gonna do this old school, huh? That's fine." And he has on the other side of his jacket another piece of leather, just sharpening the knife as he
Mhm.
walks towards you, and sharp, stepping and stepping, and he goes, walks. You're in your seated position. He has the high ground, Anakin,
Mhm.
and goes to strike down on top of you.
As he goes to strike, little did the burly bastards know that while I was in that car, I snagged one of their cattle prods. Because you never know when you're going to need to. Eh, eh, eh. So as he's swinging down,
Mhm.
the cattle prod comes out, goes behind my shoulder, right into the chest. I'm still sipping on my whiskey.
Roll for success.
16.
Absolutely. Does does Michael hit the button?
Oh, yeah.
Oh fuck yeah! Hits the button. Electric. We get to find out what that fucking pulse does now, don't we? And it shocks Sweet Tooth. He shudders, stammers, and drops the machete, and it lands square on his own foot. He doesn't shout. doesn't scream.
Can't feel pain. He ain't.
He looks at it, looks up. Your eyes now glowing red. We're talking Terminator style now. Dun, 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 dun. And he steps away. And you see his foot, part of his foot, still over there. And his foot reforms. And he goes, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. For you.
Alrighty. Well, he just steps up out of the seat and says, alright, it's a party now. He grabs the bottle that the maitre d' left on the table of the whiskey. He tears off a piece of the tablecloth, puts it into said whiskey, and lights it off the candle and chucks it at this reformation in front of.
Can you make a success roll for me?
I can try. 15.
Cracks him square in the chest. He goes stumbling and rolling. I've never heard of a Nebraska cocktail before. Yeah, usually they're more Molotovs. But there you go. A home brewed cocktail cracking this creature in the chest, and he goes stumbling back into the room, patting himself down and dusting himself off, but still on the floor, flips over and goes to crawl towards the new stairs. That was until the desk. He ain't interested in playing no more. He's gonna hightail it.
As he attempts to crawl to these stairs, as he's crawling, he feels a foot on his back. With that machete, I go to sever this thing's appendage from the neck up. It ain't a head, so it's still PG. So you can sever it off, hold it up, and he takes a selfie with said head and sends it to the random number on the phone, the only one in the phone book that goes straight to these agents.
Can you make a success roll for me just to see?
4.
You spilled a little bit of that done there whiskey on yourself, and you feel an electric shock from your wire directly on your Bible belt. So,
ow,
going to strike and going to do this, you clean the head square off, but as you turn to take the selfie, you feel a shock down there below in the deep south, and you stumble and fall, holding the automaton's head, and roll down the stairs. Can you make an intensity check for me?
11.
You're okay. Banged up again. That you could do it some more, or whatever the heck them boys done gave you. But you're now in what I can only describe as the White Room from The Dark Knight with Lucius Fox. It is a wider room than you were expecting to appear in, and you are currently holding your own head. You ever play God of War? You are holding your own severed head in a bright room. And can you make a success roll for me to determine what you see?
18.
There is... What would you say is Michael's favorite car?
His favorite car would be a Dodge Challenger. Brand new, top model. Boom, boom, boom.
You see a Dodge Challenger in a very familiar blue that was on a flag and on insignias, and on the hood of it you see the same cross hatch. You are standing in a room that looks to be a garage, holding your own severed head. What would you do?
Is there? I look around for a door, a garage door of some kind. There has to be an exit in this room if there's a car in here. So, do I see an exit?
There's no exit that you can see, but you remember how the office worked.
So I say, garage door open.
The car turns on first. You're not getting out of here without putting some cheeks on a seat.
So, instead of my own ass going in that fucking car, I walk back up the stairs, grab the body, place it on the driver's seat, and hope to God that this door fucking opens. Because if it opens and that car goes out and it gets lamented by everything that the Singaporean people have, at least it's not my ass that gets fucking burned.
Can you make a success roll for me on that particular prompt?
9.
You think that it's gonna be assaulted, but they don't know about this exit. All their recon and all their research, you know, if you get into this car, you can go anywhere you want. You can choose to turn in Sweet Tooth, or you can go anywhere you want to go. It is entirely up to you what Michael does now. You have your own head, still fully aware and available for conversation. You place the body in the car, and he kind of just try to jitter around and move. He's ahead, so he's like, boy, I can't drive if I'm not on that body. That garage door ain't opening done unless someone places some hands on that wheel.
So, what I will do is place the body in the hands in the car, hands on the wheel, ass in the seat, strap his head in the passenger seat next to him. If the door opens, I will pour the rest of that whiskey and another flame in that car and roll it on out of there.
Make a success roll for me to see if your arrangement triggers.
16.
You are absolutely correct. The second you play, you set up as you do, the car peels off, and right as you think it's gonna hit a door, you think the garage door is there, and you think, oh, he's gone. The car is gone. No gunfire, no uproar. The garage door remains open. The other door is also open. You have 2 ways to go. Sweet Tooth gone.
What about the flame I put in the car?
He's gone, man. What happens to that flame could be determined and figured out if you walked out the garage door.
Which I do.
The car speeding away, looking to be on private motorway. As the car moves out of sight, you see more smoke, more smoke, a trail, 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 blackened smoke, blackened smoke, and the further it goes away, the darker the smoke gets, and you see ignition and the final engine roar and a spark and an unholy explosion of metal and chaos. Faintly on the wind, you hear, God damn, that's a waste of my fucking whiskey. The head goes flying to the right, the body goes flying to the left. The car is no more, but the head remains somewhere after flying off that overpass.
So in this situation, I go back up through the door. I approach the front of the establishment where I came in, and I head out the front door.
Can you make a success roll for me?
11.
Yeah, they know it. You've been tapped and you've been wired. They know it's you. They don't open fire. And the same van you saw, the same big burly gentlemen are there. You can choose to walk towards them or turn to walk through the town. It's for you to decide what you do.
I walk straight up to the burly gentleman. Is the agent with him?
Make a success roll.
15.
Yeah. He's there.
So
He's in a different car beside. So as you walk up to them, he steps out of his car and goes, "I think you have something of ours."
I don't. But y'all hear that explosion out there? His head's somewhere over that direction. It ain't too far from here. And his body another. You might want to collect those too, because in my experience of dealing with that fucker, you want them two pieces to be as far away from each other as possible. So send your search teams, send whatever it is you need out to find the shit heap that's out there. I've held up my end. You take my ass home.
We couldn't hear exactly, but did you get a name?
There is no name. This thing was beyond anything I'd ever seen in films, TV, and fucking technology that I've ever laid my eyes on. This was something different. This thing was like a walking computer. This thing was connected to something a lot bigger than what it was. You're not looking at a person here. You're looking at like a fucking sentient automaton looking motherfucker who just copies likenesses. Like a fucking modern day Napster.
You are given the choice to go with the burly gentleman, in the same way you came, or you can go with the original agent. Who would Michael choose to travel with?
Agent.
He nods to the boys. They go away. Right as you're right as the car starts not, and you hear the thunder roll and the lightning strikes. They like Garth Brooks. Get in the agent's car. He drives you back to the airport. He reassures you that though they wanted a name, you've given them everything, every bit of reconnaissance and everything that you could have gone above and beyond, and you've been granted port. You've been granted a way home. It's a perfectly affable conversation. Nothing Oh, now the ordinary. Like, how would Michael handle the drive back? He's fully going home. He has his nation's gratitude. He has been successful. How would he handle that drive?
He would still be very cautious, still have his wits about him, because until he reaches that plane and that plane gets in the air, he can't know that this is going to be his final, his final bit that he needs to do. He's read the declassified files. He knows how these guys work. It's never just did what you did what you done, giving us blah blah blah, and walk away. It doesn't work that way.
Mm. He reassures you that you've done everything you wanted. They wanted of you and more. Um, Wire is given back. He says, "Please keep the um, well, pointy items as a thank you. Um, there'll be new sets available to you, and if you ever wish to receive anything else from us by way you are owed," he hands you a card with a number on it. Said, "You dial that, and we'll be able to give you whatever you want." He pulls up. The door opens. Private chartered plane. He goes, "Thank you so much. You've done your country great service. Get on home." What would Michael do?
He would go to the plane. He would take the card, and he would say, "May just take you up on that off."
Michael. Does Michael go straight onto the plane? Just straight on,
Yep.
in, bang.
Mm.
Yeah. Without realizing it, Michael gets in, settles himself down in the agent, sits back in the car, looks up at Michael, and a very familiar set of red, glowing eyes appear. And Michael is sent on home. The hand reaches up. And the face drops again. And the face of Shania Twain appears. And we roll credits.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Brian's Mild Phallus? No, Brian's Mind Palace. Dave, how the fuck did you come up with all of that?
Just on the spot, man. Just whatever's just riffing it. Just literally just whatever's in my head.
I hope that story was exactly what you wanted it to be, and I can guarantee you it's absolutely everything I didn't think would happen. But it was fucking great, and I hope anyone who has watched this far, thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment and let us know what your favorite part of the story was. What would you have done differently? And my God, could I go for a whiskey? Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you later.